Welcome to another episode on video game localization curiosities by Day Translations. Today, we're here to discuss the wonderful world of Tunic, the mysterious language it features, and the impact this has had on the gaming experience as well as on the localization aspect of the game. Tunic, one of the latest and most successful indie video game experiences of the year, takes the open-ended design approach to new heights with one of the most unique gameplay mechanics around, collecting pages of an instruction manual. More importantly, the world is open to a unique language that many players struggle to translate. The manual withholds vital information, so players have to learn organically over time. This extreme difficulty is all part of Tunic's charm. What little help the game is willing to provide is not written in any known language. The whole thing is instead written in Tunic's unique Fox language, a runic language. While this is definitely an immersive aspect of the game, some players may find it a little hard to navigate. Tutorializing in Tunic is done by collecting pages of the game's instruction manual that are scattered throughout its colorful world. These pages teach players the controls, provide maps to new areas, and reveal hidden secrets of the world. Information is sparse thanks to the entire story being told in its own made-up language, so learning is done by closely studying and interpreting every page of this foreign instruction manual. Tunic's in-game instruction manual promotes freedom by letting the player's own curiosity guide them through the story. The pages only give players cryptic hints about where to go next, and reveal the game's plot through context clues rather than expository text. From both a narrative and gameplay design perspective, Tunic wants to nudge players toward progression, instead of dragging them. Dropping players into Tunic's fantasy land without a safety net enriches the world by making players put in the work to uncover its mysteries. The most unexpected and fascinating turn is that although Tunic's own runic language was initially deemed untranslatable, players have already translated it. The language, however, wasn't intended to be translated by players. It was designed to add a sense of adventure and mystery to the game, forcing players to analyze the in-game visual cues instead of merely reading through a non-screen script. According to an interview from the gamer, Andrew Shouldice, the game developer, discussed creating the language. He said, "Tunic is very much about secrets and mystery in a big way, and sort of like truly feeling like you're surrounded by things that you don't fully understand. The glyphs in Tunic exist to make players feel like they're in a place that they don't belong. And were they to mean something, it would be important that it not simply be a letter-to-letter cipher to English. In this day and age, if you see a set of glyphs in a game, you're probably going to assume that it's got some sort of meaning, and maybe we'll try digging into it. And if it were merely a letter-by-letter cipher, that would probably be less interesting for people. The folks who have delved more deeply into the Tunic language seem to have had a good time sussing things out." Reddit user Opus Deo, however, decided to translate the runes diligently, contrary to what many suspected. Opus Deo is a programmer and not a professional linguist. It is in discoveries like this that the world is keeping the love of languages alive. Now let's have a look at Opus Deo's findings. It turns out the Tunic game language is English, but phonemes are used, and each has its own character. The consonant sounds and vowel sounds take up distinct regions of the character. So if you combine both regions, you make a phoneme. Horizontal lines represent individual words, also placing breaks in the line that separates them. Each character has a geometrical structure that serves as a connection pattern to form lines and shapes, linking elements up and down the structure. Looking at these sample patterns, you can see that the dotted lines can be filled in as edges to form each phoneme. There is no right side, because that belongs to potential adjacent characters. An optional circle can be placed at the bottom sometimes, indicating that the vowel sounds come before the consonant, and vice versa. The inside lines of the pattern drawn inwards make up consonant sounds. Each unique consonant sound has a unique combination of these edges filled in. If these are the only filled edges, it means the sound is only the consonant sound. On the other hand, the 5 outside edges, drawn mainly outwards, form vowel sounds. Each unique vowel sound has a unique combination as well. Learning this by heart and with a lot of practice, using the game's character dialog or manual, one can progressively come up with sound translation. Simply fascinating. Now, when you stop to think about localization, what would be the main challenge to consider? The uniqueness of this particular Fox language. It mirrors how English phonemes work, hence, being designed from that perspective, it is still English. This means that the whole language would have to be recreated from scratch, or repurposed for every single new target language, so that players can make sense out of it. Does this mean that Tunic cannot be truly localized into other languages? Well, that is still a mystery yet to be solved, which makes this foxy adventure even more fascinating to the language industry experts. In the meantime, being able to spark passion for translation and further exploring the mechanics of this language seem to be enough for most players. Tunic has been a total success, and its community of passionate gamers and lore lovers does nothing but continue to grow. Had the game not been so successful in terms of creativity, what would the bigger picture look like? As we can see with Tunic, mystifying and intriguing, the world of game creation is intrinsically linked to video game localization. Without top-notch translation for your game language, you risk damaging its reputation and subsequent sales too. The pressure might be immense, but internationalization and culturalization inspire translation professionals to deliver a creator's ideal vision to audiences all across the world. Throughout any video game development and translation process, there is a part referred to as culturalization, and it deals with making the dialogue and text of a game as genuine and natural sounding as possible for players in every country and region. This process ensures that the game relates to all players, which is obviously a key quality goal. After the game and its content have been fine-tuned according to cultural expectations, it goes through the internationalization process, which prepares the game for translation. During internationalization, linguists eliminate any code that varies from one language to another, enabling the code and architecture of the game to become more adaptable to streamline the translation. With constructing languages like Tunic's runic language, there's minimal need for translation, though. Still, Tunic's case is a catch-22 scenario, since the developers and translation team must ensure that every rune is globally acceptable, relatable, and appropriate. Tunic, somehow, has seamlessly come up with its own way to maneuver around these challenges. A great achievement to be proud of, since what not many know is that the game had been in development as an indie project for over 5 years, and one can evidently tell the amount of thought and effort put into every single aspect of the game. So, if you could think of Tunic's phonemes in your own language, what would the fox say? We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and thank you for supporting Tunic and promoting passion for language and culture. See you soon!